Hey LFC, we've made it to our last study for the book of Psalms this semester. I hope you've enjoyed this time together. And tonight we're coming to Psalm 110 as we look at the Messianic Psalms. And I want you to know that while every psalm points to Christ in some way or another, there are some psalms that are written for the sole purpose of worshiping and looking forward to a future king who will reign on David's throne. In fact, there's a lot of psalms written throughout the book of Psalms that were to be sung as the congregation gathered to place a new king on David's throne. So when an old king passed away and they were going to anoint a new king, all of Israel would gather together and they would sing one of these messianic psalms. Their prayer was that this would be the king who would be the Messiah. But if he's not the king, they were trusting that God was going to provide the king. And Psalm 110 is one of the most famous of all the messianic psalms. In fact, this psalm is the most repeated psalm in the New Testament. At one point, after Jesus has been asked a lot of questions by the Pharisees, Jesus decides to ask a question of his own to see if they could answer. And the question goes like this. He points to Psalm 1:1, where it says, "The Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool." And what he's saying is that David is prophesying. David is calling the future messianic king Lord. And he's saying, look, how could David, who is older, reference the new king as Lord? Really, it should be that David is greater than the future king, but David calls this future king greater. And how can that be? And he's really wanting them to understand that Jesus himself is the messianic king that has been promised, and he is greater than King David. In fact, he's greater than any king that has ever reigned in Israel. And then we see also that verse 4 says that you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. This is another interesting concept because in David's day, there were kings and there were priests, but one didn't operate the other office. They just both did their own thing. But this psalm points to the day where there will be one individual who will be both king and priest. That he will reign and function as both the king, the Messiah, and the priest who intercedes on behalf of all humanity. We also see that the Apostle Peter says that we as the church have been made into a holy nation, a kingdom of priests. That as we take on the identity of Jesus and we serve in his kingdom, in today's world, we also are acting as priests, as we seek to be mediators between King Jesus and the world and leading people to Jesus to be saved. So I hope as you read through Psalm 10, it would just deepen your sense and your love for who Jesus is, what he's accomplished, and what he has promised to do. Hope that your desire for the kingdom grows, and we look forward to our study next semester, and we hope that you can join us. Thanks.